We looked at the efficacy of sacituzumab govitecan as a third-line and plus option for patients with metastatic triple-negative breast cancer. So triple-negative breast cancer is a subset of breast cancer that is associated with an aggressive tumor biology, tends to affect young patients. Visceral mets, lung mets, liver mets are more common in this subset. And the response with standard chemotherapy agent in first line and beyond setting is not that high, particularly third line plus setting. So currently it's an unmet clinical need, and so that is why we looked at sacituzumab in this setting. So sacituzumab govitecan is an antibody-drug conjugate. The antibody is against TROP2. It has a linker which is cleavable, and then the toxic payload is SN38, which is the active metabolite of irinotecan and affects the DNA repair pathway. It does not affect microtubules. And we found that in patients who were treated with this agent, the objective response rate was 34%. And this was confirmed objective response rate in an intention to treat analysis. The responses were durable. And when we looked at the time on therapy with sacituzumab and also the time on therapy to the last treatment before sacituzumab, in general, you could see that patients were on sacituzumab govitecan for a longer period of time. The major side effect that we observed with this agent was grade 3, grade 4 neutropenia, observed some gastrointestinal adverse events with nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, but the incidence of grade 3, grade 4 gastrointestinal adverse events was in the single digits. The adverse events were well managed with supportive therapy. Only 2 patients, so that's 1.8% of patients, discontinued because of adverse events. So that speaks to the tolerability of this compound. So overall, the data are very encouraging in terms of clinical efficacy of this agent in metastatic triple-negative breast cancer. We are doing a confirmatory phase 3 randomized trial, and patients would be randomized to receive sacituzumab versus standard of care therapy. One thing I would say that with single-arm phase 2 trials, it's more important to look at objective response rate than survival, because there are multiple factors that can affect survival. Survival is a great endpoint for randomized trials, but in single-arm phase 2 trials, the objective response rate is a better metric. So as per local assessment, there were 34 partial responses and 3 complete responses. As per independent review, there were 28 partial responses and 6 complete responses. So there was slight difference, but in general, the bottom line is that the objective response rate was higher than 30% and complete responses were seen.